If you're a man over the age of 40, in this episode of the podcast, if you want to gain and keep great muscle, this is going to be your field manual. Tune in and take notes.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
What's up, guys? I'm Coach G, one of the coaching team here at CrossFit Edwardsville, and I turned 40 a little over a year ago, and I've noticed that a lot of the guys around me, as they turn 40 or as they return to fitness after being in their 40s, there's a major thought process and focus and aspiration to gain and keep great muscle, because the game can be a little bit different when you're in your 40s versus in your 30s and your 20s, and you have to be more thoughtful, more intentional. Chances are, if you're a guy in your 40s and you want to gain muscle, you're now balancing work responsibilities, family responsibilities, your duties to your spouse, your kids, having a life outside the gym. Some of the lifestyle, the things that you're contending with can be a little bit different if you're a guy in your 40s wanting to gain and keep great muscle. You just can't play the same game that 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds can play. So in this episode, I wanted to capture what I think are the 6 top categories of things that can contribute to you going from where you are to having all the muscle you want to have and keeping the muscle that you want to have as effectively, as efficiently as possible. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The number one and biggest factor for you to retain, build, gain, keep great muscle is smart strength training. What do I mean by that? For your resistance training, it's almost an essential. It's like as important as consuming your vitamins and your macronutrients every day is having those big weightlifting exercises like your squats, your deadlifts, your bench presses, rows. Consistent exposure to resistance training is an absolute mission critical prerequisite to having that muscle, as is what I call progressive overload, which is over time gradually increasing the weights that you lift, the rep schemes, adding reps, adding volume to your exercise, or even maybe increasing the intensity of your workouts to continue building muscle. Having a smart, structured, progressive overload program is also key to gaining the results you want from strength training. Also, emphasizing or biasing to compound movements that have multiple joints working at once, bigger movements. I referenced squats, deadlifts, presses earlier. You could also think about movements like bodyweight exercises, push-ups, pull-ups, or Olympic lifting movements like cleans, snatches. These exercises are very potent stimuli to the body. You work multiple muscle groups, and it gives a big, powerful, emphatic, and effective stimulus to the body for muscle strength and muscle gain. And then in this category, one final thought, smart strength training is going to include consistent variety. Different exercises, different equipment, changing up the rep schemes, changing up the loading, changing up the variations of squats, changing up the equipment that you use so you can hit the muscles in a different way and prevent plateaus. And perhaps as importantly as anything, keeping yourself from getting bored, keeping boredom at bay so you're consistently engaged and interested in your program. These are all really important prerequisites in the smart strength training category. Let's go to category number 2, nutrition. Number 1, right off the bat, protein intake. You have to have enough protein intake every day in terms of grams to support muscle repair and growth. There's a truism, a general thought process throughout all of the health and fitness space that I think holds true. A general guideline is consuming 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, i.e. whatever you weigh. That number of grams of protein is a really good start point for how much protein to consume every day. For example, if you're a 200-pound male, 200 grams of protein each day might be a really good start point for how many grams of protein. Asterisk, you need to talk to a nutritionist and consider individual factors as well. But that's a really good start point and a very easy mental shortcut, mental math that you could use to be sure you're getting enough protein every single day. You have to have those protein building blocks to keep and build the muscle you want to have. Related to that is having all the macros you need. I'm going to tentatively call this category a balanced diet, although I've always been somewhat hesitant with that term because I think for a lot of people it conveys the wrong idea. So here's what I mean. You need to have protein and high quality carbohydrates and dietary fat. All three of these are important macronutrients so you can have the energy that you need via carbohydrates, the hormone regulation that you get via dietary fat. And to get the complete macro picture, very, very generally, think about meats, fish, eggs, nuts, seeds, fruits, and vegetables. The specific CrossFit prescription of nutrition, and let's see if I can recite it from memory. Eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, a little bit of starch, and absolutely no sugar is the CrossFit prescription for healthy eating. And that would give you not just the fuel that you need for having great energy to go out and live a great life, but also the fuel as an athlete that you need to hit the gym hard, perform well in the gym, and maximize the outcomes of your gym time. Related and not less important is getting good hydration, staying well hydrated, drinking water throughout the day, staying hydrated is really important for muscle function and recovery. And so I'd say it's one of the three general headings under nutrition that you need to have in order to gain and keep great muscle on your body in your 40s and beyond. Let's go to factor number 3, recovery and rest. And this absolutely cannot be understated that when you're working out, you break down the muscle, you break down tissue. It's when you're recovering in between training sessions that your body rebuilds and builds better and builds the body that you want. That happens during downtime in between training sessions. Toward that end, getting good sleep, high quality sleep, and enough of it every night is super, super important. Giving your body the opportunity to rest and rebuild. A good general goal for most people is 7 to 9 hours of high quality sleep each night to promote your recovery and a good hormone profile, which, as a note, I'll talk more about this a little bit under lifestyle factors. You should be tracking your blood work as you go along. But anyway, so under recovery and rest, number 1, getting adequate sleep, good sleep, high quality sleep, and reference our other episodes of the podcast about sleep to get some amazing, practical, realistic ideas for how you can get the absolute most out of your sleep performance as well. Another point under this category of recovery and rest is rest days, having rest days regularly. I am religious about taking Sundays as a rest day. I hit it hard. I train really hard Monday through Saturday inclusive. And then Sunday, I have no formal exercise that I do on Sundays. That is my rest day. Everybody should have at least one rest day each week. I think one is perfect. If you want to get the absolute best results as quickly as possible, exercising with intensity, progressive load, all the things we've talked about from Monday through Saturday is great. And then take a cue from the Lord above and rest on Sunday. Now, your Sunday rest can be active recovery. And this is what my Sundays usually look like. You can engage in low intensity activities like walking or cycling. I garden a lot on Sundays. I do a ton of housework. So I'm carrying things up and down the stairs to the basement. outside to the garden. I'm moving sticks or logs or stones. I'm doing stuff on Sundays, but it's a very active kind of recovery. The benefit to this, it's not the load, not the intensity, not the volume of any of my workouts, but just by moving can actually help you to recover better from workouts because it keeps your muscles from getting really stiff, helps keep the blood flowing, and allows you to flush out stuff to recover from your workouts faster. So your rest day can be an active recovery day, and I actually even recommend it. So let's talk about lifestyle factors. These are also things that make a difference in keeping and gaining great muscle in your 40s. By the way, I'll talk about this first, and I referenced it earlier. Regular checkups, actually monitoring your health and addressing issues proactively and preemptively, like hormonal imbalances. This is really, really important. I get my blood work done every 4 months or so, and I feel like that's at least every 6 months would be great to look under the hood and get an idea. What is your thyroid really doing? What are your actual testosterone metrics? What are your blood cell counts, your iron levels? You should know those things because it can inform your supplementation, which we'll talk about later. Like I found as I've done blood work for many, many years, I found we identified early when my iron levels dropped out of range. I was able to add an iron supplement into my diet, and it helped to address that issue. We've addressed thyroid issues for myself, but having regular blood work done so you can identify if there's something that needs to be addressed is a really wise choice, especially as you get to your 40s, because again, the hormone profile for a 40-year-old is just not the same as 20-year-olds. So you have to proactively and preemptively act in order to keep things ideal. Anyway, that's lifestyle factor number one. Number two is stress management. High stress can really negatively impact your muscle growth and your overall health. I personally am a big believer and fan of regular meditation, breathing exercises, just getting out, getting into the sun, getting sunlight on my skin regularly. I feel like is emotionally, psychologically, personally, just massively beneficial for keeping stress at bay, keeping anxiety at bay. And of course, the workouts that you do can also be a huge factor in helping to keep stress away. Strongly recommended that you have some sort of personal rituals, regular, repeating personal rituals to keep your stress levels under control. Then, lifestyle factor number three, I think the final point on this, just being consistent, building your life around, I'm going to eat in a healthy way, which means I have to do these things. To make that happen, I do those things. I need to exercise Monday through Saturday every single week. I'm going to build my life around making that happen. So some things to keep in mind in terms of lifestyle. Let's get into our final two factors. Number five, supplementation. Creatine is one of the most studied, most evidence-based, safe, and proven nutrition supplements in the entire world. I take creatine before any workout that I do. It really does help to increase your muscle mass, improve exercise performance, which then subsequently down the line also improves your muscle mass. Now, creatine does not have to be expensive. I get a super inexpensive, just over-the-counter, no added flavors, creatine monohydrate that I mix in with water and I drink it before my workouts. It doesn't have to be any more sophisticated than that, but follow what the label says wherever you get your creatine. Do what it says for you to do. Also, protein supplements like your protein drinks can be really helpful for helping you to actually get the protein levels that you need each day. That can be very helpful on the supplementation side. And then also just talking to your healthcare provider or nutritionist to know what things might you need, especially in the light of the blood work that you do, where you identify, this is out of range, this is out of range. What should I do about that? Should I have an iron supplement? Blah, 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 blah. Good to know those things so you can take action accordingly. Last thing, final category for men over 40 to gain and keep great muscle is having proper expectations. Given that we're not 20, we're not 30 anymore, your muscle growth may be slower compared to younger years, but if you follow the prescription outlined here in this podcast, significant gains are definitely achievable. It is so possible. If you have the dedication, the smart approach we talked about here, you can absolutely have that lean, defined, well-muscled physique that the girls like, that makes you feel proud of who you are, makes you, more intimidating on the basketball court or whatever sport you like to play. Having your best body, having your best muscle tone is totally possible. Over age 40, you can build and maintain great muscle mass, great muscle tone, great muscle definition through that consistency and that patience. They are so key. I hope that you go out there and actually take action on these things. I thank you guys for the gift of your time and your attention in this episode, and we will see you guys in the next one.